Alright, time to watch some fail videos. Oh, God, YouTube with their ads, man. That looks kind of nice. Yeah, it looks really peaceful. It's been a long time since I've gone on a hike. Maybe I spent too much time indoors. Yeah, I probably should do another hike, right? Like, it's about to get too cold. Yeah, let's do another hike. All right. Well, yeah, thanks, YouTube. Probably see what it looks like out before I go. What? That doesn't look nice. I thought it was still nice outside. Well, what's the temperature outside? Ugh. I mean, I can't find my sunglasses anyway, so I should probably call the whole thing off. UV rays and all that. Yeah. Maybe I'll just play video games instead. But I can go hiking in the video game. Yeah, that's what I'll do. What's up, guys? How we doing today? Okay, so right out of the gate, I have to tell you about a new Friday the 13th movie. So, as you may or may not know, we haven't had a new film in the franchise for a while now, and the reason stems from a lawsuit. Basically, the original writer, Victor Miller, and the original director, Sean S. Cunningham, have been engaged in a lawsuit over the rights, and this has stalled any new movie that may be in the works, which there was, or may still be, but since fans are fans and resourceful, we've gotten some fan films in the meantime, which is cool, But the one I think you need to know about is this one, Friday the 13th ReAwakening. So why do you need to know about this one? Well, it was created using Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, you heard that right. They modded the hell out of the game and made this movie, which is crazy impressive and really fun to watch. Now, obviously they had to get some voice actors, but the creativity behind this is incredible. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check it out because it's a lot of fun and they made it with a video game. Seriously. And what does that have to do with today's movie? Nothing. No, I just thought it was interesting. Alright, well with that out of the way, we can talk about today's movie, The Prey, which came out on November 4th, 1983 and runs for 1 hour and 20 minutes. It was directed and half written by Edwin Brown. It's another outdoor stalker movie about 3 couples who go camping where they are tracked down by a random killer. It stars Debbie Thorison as Nancy, Steve Bond as Joel, Lori Lethin as Bobby, Robert Wald as Skip, Gail Gans as Gail, and Philip Wenkus as Greg. Oh, and Jackson Bostwick as the Ranger Mark O'Brien. He actually played Captain Marvel in the Shazam TV series. Yeah, throwback. Alright, well, if you're ready to be bored out of your mind, let's get into the movie that is The Prey.
Okay, guys, are you ready?
We start off by driving through hell. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not hell, it's actually Texas. Well, that's close enough. No, actually, it's this place. And the music in the opening credits isn't bad. It actually sets a pretty good mood. Then years later, we see this couple out camping and really enjoying their food. And here we get a pretty good idea of what the pacing is going to be like in this movie. Slow. And it's always funny to me how some of the shorter horror movies can have such slow pacing and so much filler in them. I mean, take that away and you have like a 35-ish minute movie. Anywho, we see something that is at least 32 years old that has a flashback to the wildfire. See? That's why they're at least 32. Oh, and that reminds me, today's show is brought to us by math. I gotta get me some of that math. The wife goes to wash the dishes, as she should. Then we take a break to watch this guy. Just wondering how many people actually think I'm serious. Then we take a break to watch this guy light up and enjoy his pipe. Yeah, see, this is riveting stuff here. I was actually just wondering what he would look like smoking a pipe, and now I know. Cool. As he's sharpening an axe, we do actually get a creepy shot.
Is someone there?
Now, if you've ever gone camping, then you know how creepy it is to hear something walking around you in the dark. And I mean, usually it's like a raccoon or something, but you don't know that for sure. Also, it kind of feels like the movie gets stuck in a loop here, but nope. It's just really bad editing. She hears him scream and goes running, and we get some pretty good gore. It actually kind of makes up for the slow pacing. For now, cut to what appears to be an episode of inspiring insects, followed up with some scenic nature shots. See, I told you it's usually a raccoon. Well, I mean, not for that first couple, but for most people, raccoons. We hear the gang and see that they're heading to where the wildfire happened. So here's the gang. And when I first saw this, I thought the sign said canned beef, which would both be clever and horrible for a porta potty sign. And check out the shorts on this dude. With that shirt tucked in, this guy fucks. Ranger Mark comes to check. You're still thinking about that canned beef, aren't you? Yeah, me too. Ranger Mark comes to check in with the ladies before getting some more nature shots. Then shots of them hiking and the mountains. And as the guys take a break, we see something setting a trap. Then we see the differences between guys and girls.
And then slip it right to her.
It's gonna be so romantic.
I wouldn't count on it. See, now, if you wanted romance, you should have went to Crystal Lake. The sunsets there are breathtaking. More shots of nothing happening. Look, I get it. We need establishing shots to try and get us to feel involved with the story, but we only need so many. You don't have to pound us over the head with it. Cut to Gail complaining about her feet hurting, and we get an example of even when guys are right, we're wrong.
I told you to break in your boots before the trip.
A lot of good that does me now, you asshole.
Look, I think you should download Google Translate before our trip. Well, I don't want to. Okay, but I think we're really gonna need it. Sound familiar? Yeah, and I think we all know how that story ends. Everyone heads out, but Gail stays back to fix her hair. But don't worry, even though she's being watched, nothing happens. Just like 90% of this movie so far. It's making me think of Drive-In Massacre. Gail tries to tell them that there's something out there, but...
There was something out there, and it followed me here.
Sure, Gail. Sure.
Now, as they're eating, the movie actually does go on repeat. They literally show us the same clips repeated, but just from different angles to make this snooze fest even longer.
And there was so much pressure I couldn't get out.
Sound familiar? Oh, and how about this one?
And there was so much pressure I couldn't get out.
I honestly find it insulting that they think we'll just keep watching this and be like, oh yeah, nothing weird about this scene at all, completely normal. Alright, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this right here. We do get more shots of wildlife mixed in, and I think I figured it out. Teru Hayashi, the director of photography, was tired of doing the same kind of movies. I mean, not real highbrow stuff here. So he agreed to do this movie just for the chance to film all sorts of wildlife and nature, so he could send that into National Geographic and get a job there, finally fulfilling his lifetime dream of filming bugs professionally. It all makes sense now. But sadly, Teru would not go on to work for National Geographic. No, what his future held was much, much darker and far more sinister. So this repeated nonsense goes on for this long, interspliced with 8 wildlife shots. But the scene doesn't end there, it goes on, just not repeated. We get treated to the old cursed monkey paw story, so this entire dinner scene goes on for a grand total of 8 goddamn minutes. 10% of this movie is this bullshit dinner scene. More boring stuff happens before we find out that Gail appears to have a fetish for air mattresses being blown up. Just bad editing all around. Got to seeing Ranger Mark playing his southern accent, and we see that he's a real gutter puss. And I think this is put in as a way to humanize his character to us. You know, since most people see park rangers as cold, calculating, methodical, unwavering, stone-cold sons of bitches. He is pretty good, though. Woo, doggy! We're gonna have ourselves a hella! Thought I was watching Poor Pretty Eddie there for a second. We see the bullshit that both sides have to go through just to get some loving.
Tell me that you love me.
I love you, goddammit, I love you.
No, you don't. You'd say anything right now.
Yeah, of course we're gonna say what we think you want to hear. Just like you're gonna deny us for the first 20 times. Then we are treated to some truly awkward kissing. As these two are getting down to business, we see that they're being watched, and Gail sort of sees what it is and stops. So Greg goes to investigate, and as he's doing so, Gail meets the Lurker, and apparently they are far enough away from the others that they don't hear her before she gets suffocated. Another weird editing shot of the gutter puss. I think this is just to show us that the killer isn't Mark? I don't know, man. Either way, Gary gets killed next in a both surprising but not surprising scene. Like, you know he's gonna die, you just don't know how until it happens. Plus I thought they were gonna draw it out for a lot longer, just like the rest of this movie. But the music is great for this, actually. The next morning, the group can't find Greg or Gail, and all of their stuff is gone. Cut to Lester here, getting a call from the police about a missing persons case, and this scene gives us a hint as to who's doing the killings. I mean, you'd have to be blind not to see it with all the clues they're giving us. Here and here? So obviously, we all know Smokey the Bear's against forest fires, right? And even though he is a bear and bears sometimes attack people, he still wants to keep his public image clean. But he's sick of all these assholes starting forest fires. I mean, that's how his dad died, you know? So, what's his solution? That's right, he hires someone to do his dirty work for him. But not just anybody. This is Tony Filangelo. He's the top hitman for the Cardone family. Think Sammy the Bull, but way, way worse. See, it's the perfect relationship, especially since Filangelo has a soft spot in his heart for nature. See, I mean, he was a scout when he was a kid. See, I think I cracked the case. The killer is Filangelo, and the mastermind is Smokey the Bear. So remember, only you can die if Smokey orders the hit. After spending too long shouting for G Squared and getting even more creature shots, they decide to go ahead without them, but leave a note. We also see where Gail made it off to. Lester informs us that several people have gone missing. Mark says that he'll go and try to find them while looking very suspicious. Lester also tells Mark that he helped try to fight the fire from the beginning of the movie, and that a band of gypsies was caught in the fire and died.
You couldn't pull them apart, tell which was which.
He also says,
I saw something back there. A young boy, and he was burnt like nothing you've ever seen in your life.
And I can't help but think this guy looks like a cross between Danny DeVito and John Polito. Definitely the glasses help. He also gives us this info.
Maybe you'd better drop back and get the .6.
Listen, it'll make you feel happy. I'll take the tranquilizer gun.
Mark heads out and finds their note before we get the scene while the gang is swimming. And I have no idea what the fuck is happening with this guy's eyes. I mean, nobody says anything about them, and they just go back to normal afterwards, so maybe it's a medical condition with water? I don't know. A lot of questions around the eyes, though. Later, the two dipshits decide to go rappelling down a cliff and leave the girls behind. Mark finds the tracks left by Gail's body, and we get so close to this movie getting better. But no. So close, though. Mark sees some vultures and finds Gail with some alarming music. And to skip us watching Joel, Filangelo sneaks up behind him and breaks his neck before messing with Joel, then cutting his rope. Hearing him scream, the girls go to check it out and find Skip, and it is a good attention to detail here. I mean, notice how his butt is facing upward? I mean, he did just get his head spun around. At least they got that part right. The girls see Filangelo and run away, and at one point they decide to go all slow-mo on us. I mean, it reminds me of Slithis. Before they start running again. And Bobby ends up in the trap we saw getting set earlier. And that is a cool shot. I mean, you can basically feel the impact on that one. This is a well-shot scene. As Nancy is crying, Filangelo steps out, and really all of this could have been avoided had they not left their fire going all night. I mean, that's just not safe camping right there. And what does Smokey hate? Unsafe camping. Yeah. The gutter push shows up and hits him with a trank, and wait a second. See, so that doesn't look like Filangelo to me. Let me just make sure. No, see, I know hitmen will sometimes wear disguises, but no, that's definitely not him. Okay, well, I guess I was wrong about who the killer was. I still stand by the idea that Smokey has mob ties though, that I'm sure of. Anyways, after the trank, Ranger Mark takes an unorthodox approach to starting the fight, before straight up throat chopping him with a log. Now that actually is a good move. But of course that doesn't actually kill him. Then we get a really weird extreme close-up of Ranger Mark getting killed. And as he's going to get Nancy, we see that he's not going to kill her, he's just horny. We see that some time has passed before we hear this. See, told you, he's just horny. And the movie ends. And now for some fun facts. This was actually shot in 1979, but wasn't released until 1983. So this movie has another cut. It's the same story, obviously, but they go a lot deeper into the backstory of how the fire started, 25 minutes deep. And it also cuts out a lot of the nature shots, which really makes sense. It's really weird too, because at that bullshit dinner scene, basically they tell a different scary story instead of the monkey paw one, which is about the fire and how it started. It starts off all flashbacky, then goes to normal colors? Another really weird choice. Besides the backstory, they also add in some nudity and sex, and this really awkward sex scene. Like, what the hell is he doing with his tongue here? And you don't usually see nipple play in horror movies, or regular movies for that matter. And apparently the director and the producer had no involvement with this footage, but it was the brainchild of an executive at Essex Productions. You might have noticed I referred to Ranger Mark as a gutter puss. Well, this is why. He really is a gutter puss. Some gypsies felt that this film was prejudiced towards the gypsy community. I'm guessing the cut with the extra backstory footage. So the Federal Association of Gypsies, or FAG, yeah, not a great name, sent an official protest letter to the director. Now, I thought gypsies were all like roaming and about that wanderlust lifestyle, so how the hell did they organize a federal association? This kind of blows my mind. Smokey the Bear was born on August 9th, 1944. And that shovel he's carrying? Yeah, it's for digging holes in the desert for those hits. I'm telling you, he's mob connected. So, would I recommend The Prey?
Hell no.
No, it's a no for me, dog. Look, it's just not a good movie. There are some okay parts in it, like the music is decent in some spots and the acting isn't terrible overall. And that scene where Bobby dies is very well done, but I feel like I would be better off just watching a nature documentary. There's just way too much filler for my taste. But I think we can all agree that Nancy got it way worse than anyone else. I mean, that part is scary. Plus, and maybe it's just me here, but if all old medium well here was looking for was Nookie, I'm pretty sure he would have just stopped here. I mean, seems like a more appealing option to me. Yeah, I mean, her personality sucks, but I don't think he really plans on having any sort of deep conversations with her. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. If you do want to watch this, I don't know, maybe your Catholic guilt is eating you up and you need some sort of self-punishment, I'll actually put a link to both versions in the description. I wouldn't recommend either, but they're there. In my last video, I looked at Trick or Treats, and I know it's not Halloween anymore, but you should check that one out too. The review, the movie is terrible. Alright, well, that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.